Christian leadership. Activity 1. Review and list leadership roles within the club. 2. Identify the strengths and spiritual gifts needed for each role: delegator, facilitator, organizer, teacher. Key texts: Philippians chapter 2 verses 5 to 11, Ephesians chapter 4 verses 25 to 32. Biblical leadership involves servanthood and submission to Christ. Leaders should follow Jesus as their ultimate model and imitate his example of servanthood. Listening and watching are crucial skills neglected in the rush to organize and delegate. Serving others, not gratifying desires for power or superiority, is the focus of biblical leadership. All humans are leaders and should act as if others will be following and listening. Before sin, Adam and Eve were servant leaders of God's creatures. God intended for Israel to be a kingdom of priests, spreading his message of good news and grace. Christ perfectly exemplified servanthood and submission as a true leader. So, let's take a look at some strengths and weaknesses of different styles of leadership. Team builders should affirm generously, with at least twice as many positive comments as criticisms. You should have at least twice as many positive comments as suggestions or constructive criticisms. Integrity and consistency are important, as well as avoiding gossip. Do not tell one thing to one person that contradicts what you tell others. Biblical servant leadership is really about the good side of politics. You are setting out to build a team. Facilitators should empower team members and encourage self-confidence, joy, and enthusiasm. Idea generation should come from team members, with the leader offering support. Peacemakers should exhibit calmness, even in the face of anger, and go forward into crises instead of stepping away. Opportunities to build bridges and encourage troubled individuals should be embraced. Pray for discernment and wisdom, knowing both sides before appropriately interceding. Leaders should be pure, peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy, impartial, and sincere. Here are some practical tips on how to lead. Study people. Leaders should look for the need or hurt behind an attack, rather than being defensive or offended. Speaking truth about someone's value is important, especially when dealing with difficult people. Never pass up an opportunity to talk about Jesus or address people's needs and desires. Expect wounds. Criticism is inevitable, but one's value should ultimately come from God, not others' opinions. Use criticism constructively, seeking to learn and grow from it. Make space for ideas. Take time to consider suggestions or concerns, even if they seem bizarre or impossible. Continuously learn and exchange ideas with other adventurer and pathfinder leaders. Practice public speaking. Take opportunities to practice public speaking, planting seeds of God's grace with clarity and authenticity. Be attentive to the audience's response, addressing head, heart, and will. Influence spiritually by cultivating the things that are important to Christ in your own life. Prioritize people over tasks and live according to biblical values. Led by example, building your own character and being who you want others to be. React to difficulties with humor and face tasks with genuine enthusiasm to encourage others. Persevere under duress and remain faithful in the little things to inspire others. Adventurers, pathfinders, and Master Guide Ministry develop leadership for every aspect of the SDA Church. These ministries serve as a training ground for young people and staff. Activity 1. Examine the following passages and compare the characteristics of a leader in each passage. Exodus chapter 33 verses 12 to 17, Deuteronomy chapter 32 verses 48 to 52, Jeremiah chapter 22 verse 3, Micah chapter 6 verse 8, Zechariah chapter 7 verses 9 to 10, Matthew chapter 5 verses 1 to 10, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 1 Timothy chapter 3. 2. What do these leadership characteristics mean for club ministry leaders? A. Prayer. B. Being kind. Circa learning. D. Mentorship. E. Decision-making. F. Training. G. Teamwork. H. Seeking God's will.